the hardest of the hard, the gangsters of LA. I'll be riding down the Sunset Boulevard, and I'll hear Under the Bridge coming out of a lowrider, and it is the toughest, scariest, most, loked out looking dudes just melting with Under the Bridge. I'm like, okay, that was a day well spent, writing that song.
Do you always close with that song? Or do you guys mix up?
We mix it up, but yeah, it's a meaningful tune. It has stood the test of time.
When you guys closed with it the other night, I was like, yeah, you kind of have to.
I owe a lot of that to Rick Rubin, that song.
He's amazing, isn't he?
He's all right.
What a trip.
He's all right.
He's such an unusual
For
person.
a beginner, he's pretty good. So we were writing Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
Yeah.
And at the time, we would just spend our days together. He was a lot less busy. He wasn't a dad. And we would just hang all day. What are you working on? Show me the songs you're writing. Because he was producing our record. And I showed him all my, sexy songs, heavy, funky songs. He's like, okay, that's good. We can work on that. He's like, anything else in the book? Just a poem that really isn't a song. I mean, it has a melody, but I don't think it's for us. Well, let me hear it. I was like, it's kind of embarrassing. It's a little sentimental. Love to hear it. It was Rick, because Rick knows, like, there's no rules. You want the thing that's not expected. So I sang him Under the Bridge, and he was like, that's your best song. I was like, it's just a poem. Bring it into the boys. Show them the song. So without Rick's push, for the counterintuitive, sensitive guy song, we might have never had a chance to write that.
There's some people in the world that are magic.
Yeah. I love Rick, and he is magic.
He's a magic person.
Yeah.
He has, like, when you're talking to him, like, he has a sense of ignoring the bullshit and just tuning into the magic. It's a very, and you could tell when you're talking to him, it's not nonsense. It's like a science almost. It's like an understanding of what it is, and he just follows that frequency. He chases it down.
Yeah, he's tuned into that.
Yeah,
he's very good at that. He's another person. If you look at his origins, it's no accident that he ended up being the person that he is. Single child, out in the suburbs of New York City, I think, Long Beach, Long Island. And he had an aunt, very cerebral boy, already just like very smart kid, but living a boring, culture-free life of the island. And he had an aunt who lived in Manhattan who loved her nephew. And every weekend or every other weekend, whatever, he would go spend with her. And she was cultured. She was like, we're going to the opera. We're going to the symphony. We're going to the museum. We're going to go see all this different stuff. And Rick was amazed by the music and the art and the culture that she was sharing with him that he wasn't getting in his home life. And he just started tapping into the magic and dedicating himself in a way that led to him starting his record company when he was in the NYU dorms. But it wasn't an accident. Like, he got fed the raw materials as a kid, and it opened up his dream.
And I think probably also being a single kid, you're not influenced by your siblings either. So you have a chance to sort of be who you actually are.
Less influence. He would get on a bus and go 200 miles to see James Brown when James Brown was still on tour by himself. And he would get there 5 hours early. They were like, you got to wait in the parking lot because doors don't open for 5 hours. As a kid by himself to go see James Brown. I was like, yeah, you're qualified.
Just out of appreciation, not even thinking there was a career involved in that. That's what's so crazy about his story.
Yeah.
There was no career to be that guy.
Nope. No, he invented a career.
Yeah.
There was no future in hip hop.
No, people looked down upon it. They thought it wasn't even music.
Yes. Call us back when you have some music, they would say.
Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah.
He was telling me the whole story of the connection between Aerosmith and Run DMC about people like, what the fuck are you doing? You're like ruining Aerosmith. And then the hip hop people are like, what the fuck are you doing? You're putting hip hop together with rock? What the fuck is that? And then meanwhile, it's like, oh my God, you just united two worlds.
Yeah.
He united two worlds and opened up a whole new realm of possibility for music. And he just did it by following magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I met him in maybe 1985, and we were flailing. I was lost in a retarded sea of drug addiction. Just too thin to win.
How did that start?
Huh?
How'd that start?
I'll tell you, but first I got to share the little Rick tidbit. So I was basically a junkie, but still showing up to work from time to time, which was the basement of the EMI studios on Sunset Boulevard. They gave us a little basement to rehearse in. They had signed us. But we were going nowhere very slowly. Couldn't get out of our own way. But we were still making a buzz. There was still something exciting about us that caught people's attention. And it caught Rick Rubin's attention. And he was with the Beastie Boys, and they were exploding with success and greatness, writing incredible music. And so Rick brought the Beastie Boys to our dingy little recording or rehearsal spot. And he sat there, and we rehearsed while they watched. They're in these little dirty couches watching us, and we went through our songs. And Rick stood up and said, we're going to go now. And I was like, okay. Do we talk again? What's going on? We'll get back to you. Didn't see him for years. Years and years and years went by. Eventually, I got clean, and he came back and said, let's make a record. But I said, what happened that day? You came, and we played, and you disappeared, and I never talked to you again. He's like, I thought somebody was going to get murdered in that rehearsal space. I thought somebody was going to die. I had to leave. That's how dark we had become. That's how dark I had become, is he was afraid someone was going to die, and it was time to leave.
Murdered.
That's what he said. He's like, you guys were terrifying. You were scary. It felt like somebody was going to die. We had to go.
When you look back on those times, do you understand how he thought that?
Not exactly, but everybody has their own perception, and there was darkness in the room when you're following that lifestyle. There's definitely instead of a magical energy, there's a very discernible dark energy.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize it was that dangerous. He was scared.